This is the Padua Podcast Network.
The idea that you need to become an expert in your own health. There's no easy solution. And there's no real simple solution either. Running a Fever, episode 196, Red Tea Detox. Short walk today. Loving my life here. It's a beautiful day at Lake Atalanta. And since last time I was here, I'm at the original part where you actually walk around the lake. The last time I was here, I was across the street at the Pleasant Ridge section of the park. So I found a better way today. It took me about half an hour to get here. Bunch of kids here, fishing, running around, doing what kids do. So short walk, this is part of so last time I was here, I think the title of the episode is actually Lake Atalanta, Pleasant Ridge. Kid's got a great voice. He's going to be like a rock singer someday or a drill instructor. But I was really, that day I was talking about the old new strategy or the new old strategy. It's the old new strategy because it was the new strategy last year, episode 70. So now it's the old new strategy, but that includes walking, and I'm trying to walk more. I'd like to walk 3 times a week, something like that. So I come out here, it's only a 2-mile walk. Doesn't necessarily save me any time because it's half an hour to get here using the new route that I found in rush hour. So it may not be, it'll probably still be half an hour going back. There's a lot of wind here. I don't know if you're going to hear me or not. It's a lot of wind. Usually you do hear me though, so I'm going to keep talking. So, it's weekday. I could just drop down to Lake Fayetteville. 5 minutes from my house. Well, less than 10 minutes from my house, say that. It's probably about 5 minutes from my house, something like that. More or less. And walk out for a mile, walk back, that'd be two miles, right? But I don't know, I'm weird, my brain works in strange ways. I do not have a normal brain. I have an abnormal brain. If you're seen the movie, you'll recognize the quote. I'd like to complete the whole circuit. It's great. That's one of the reasons why I felt like I had to do that every time when I went to Lake Fayetteville. Another reason is if I don't have like a really long episode or more than one episode to record, then I'm not talking the whole way around. And honestly, podcasting really makes a big difference. I like to do that while I'm walking, and I don't like to walk without doing that really most of the time. So I don't mind driving up for half an hour, and I may find some other places to go. On the way up here in Rogers, there is a trail that is one of those walking trails that goes through the city and everything, but it's called the Trail of Tears Historic Trail, I guess. So we'll look into that, and maybe I'll do that, but that's more, at least the parts I've seen are in the city. Maybe there are country parts of it as well. I don't know. Or non-city parts. On the way up here, it was just right on the side of the road. So I'm glad to be here. And like I said, it's a beautiful day. And let me tell you something. I am in full superhero mode today. I'm rocking the spandex, and I got a long sleeve t-shirt on. It was in the 60s today. And just first week of October still. It's in the 60s today and probably low 70s right now. We're getting to the hottest part of the day. But out here on the lake, it's very breezy today. So I'm loving it. And there's quite a few people out here enjoying this nice, mild weather. Not a cloud in the sky. It's all blue sky. All right, so let's get right into our topic today. It was suggested by listener Hollie. Now I'm going to assume she's a listener. She made her suggestion, as you can do, by commenting on one of the blog posts. And there's one for every episode. At runningafever.com, the website that contains everything you need to know about the podcast, and also ways to do a number of things, including help the show by doing your shopping through us, playing any episode you want, archives going back to number 0, episode 0, and all the way up to now and beyond. And there is a written blog post for every single episode. And like most blogs, you are allowed to comment. I think they're moderated, so I'll have to approve them, but nonetheless, you can comment and tell me what you think. Ask questions. And that's what Hollie did. So thank you, Hollie, for giving me the idea for this episode, and I hope that you're listening and this provides you some of the information you're looking for. So here's Hollie's question, and by the way, if you want to see the episode she commented on, you can go to runningafever.com/189. And I quote, "Hi, I'm thinking about losing weight. I don't know what program I should follow. What do you think about Red Tea program?" Well, it's funny, I was listening to an older episode, I think it was around 135, something like that. Teach a Man to Fish. And in that, I talked about the idea that you need to become an expert in your own health. There's no easy solution. And there's no real simple solution either. Like a diet. So she's asking about a program. What program should I follow? And, you can start with something simple. And that is restrict your calories and exercise. And you can start with just that, and if you restrict your calories and exercise, then the next thing you look at is the scale, which you're probably already looking at anyway. You're losing weight, then keep things the same. If you're gaining weight, restrict your calories more and or increase your activity. That's about as basic a program as I can give you. I obviously, I've spent the entire history of this podcast learning myself and talking about all the refinements to that and all the details of what I've just told you. But that's a basic program. If you're looking for a basic program, and a lot of people are. So, but I had never heard of the Red Tea program that Hollie mentioned, and so I wanted to go and find out a little more about it so I could be more, be armed with some knowledge to help her with her question. So red tea is comes from an African plant, and I'm going to talk first about red tea itself, and then I'm going to talk about what Hollie calls the Red Tea program. It comes from a plant called rooibos, which is rooibos. Rooibos, I actually got the pronunciation written down here and I messed it up. Which is in the family Fabaceae, which you may remember from my episode on beans, because beans are also mostly in this family. Another word for Fabaceae plants is legumes. Rooibos is Southern African in origin, and its leaves are often consumed as tea. It is red in color, and the word rooibos means red bush. Now, for those of you in the UK, you may know this, the tea as red bush tea. But despite its name, there's also a green variety of rooibos. Tea is, of course, made from dried leaves of the plant. And the reason that it's part of a program or a diet is that there are a number of health benefits attributed to red tea. And these are widely known, so I have no reason to doubt them. First of all, it's low in calories. Well, some of the stuff I got from, this is an article on livestrong.com. All tea is low in calories unless you put sugar in it, or something like that. So, but yes, it actually is low in calories. No surprise, but it has 2 calories per 8-ounce serving, which is practically zero. If it's less than 5, I just consider it to be 0. And that's what I consider tea to be. So speaking of sugar, it is naturally sweet. It has a sweet taste. So if you like your tea sweet, then you won't have to put as much sweetener in it, whether sugar or honey or something artificial. So that's another benefit. Another health benefit is that it regulates blood sugar. And this is important. This just keeps coming up. I talked about the glycemic index when I talked about the 3 oatmeals. And also a recent episode that I did with Robert, where I talked about dialysis analysis. He said that kidney disease also follows from diabetes, which can be caused by distressed blood sugar, spiky blood sugar. So diabetes, kidney disease, and obesity. Finding food and ways to eat that reduce spikes in blood glucose have become a core concept in the diet department of this show. However, this is only found in the green version of rooibos. So that particular factor does not apply to red tea. So you've got the 2 things that I talked about. It's naturally sweet and low in calories. There may be other benefits, but those are the ones that I know of. Now, I'm pretty confident this kind of tea is generally good for you. However, this isn't really what Hollie's asking. There's a popular diet called Red Tea Detox. There's a book, and there's a website, redteadetox.com. And everything I've found on this indicates that it is yet another fad diet. Most of the material that I see has nothing of substance but anything that's different about this program. Nothing at all. The kinds of things you see are a lot of marketing things. As with other fad diets, it's promoters kind of feed on the frustration of people who've tried different diets to lose weight. And so they'll try this one if they, hear the right words. Here are some of the claims from the website. Melt away up to 1 pound of fat every 72 hours. Erasing excess fat in the blink of an eye. all you need to do is drink this delicious red tea and a few other things to shrink your fat cells. Eat more, way less. You will never feel hungry. And it just goes on for pages and pages. And you don't hear anything. And of course, if you buy the program, that's where you get a diet that, you know, if I guess correctly, is going to say also reduce your caloric intake and exercise more. Now, I didn't read the book, and I certainly didn't buy the program. There's also, you know, other products associated with it. There's an official red tea detox tea, red tea, that you can buy that has the same design, graphic design as the book. So there's probably no end to the ways that you can hand your money over to these people who are probably just saying, yeah, here are just doing what I do. Saying, yes, here are the benefits to red tea, so drink it, and diet and exercise. Because almost all of these actually say that, somewhere in the book, diet and exercise, which is really the core of how you lose weight. But that's not what they're selling, because that's not what people want. You know, people want something easy and fast, and folks, it just doesn't work that way. Sorry, I honestly do wish it was different, but that's just the plain truth. Beautiful day, isn't it?
Great day. That's not yours.
There is a lot that goes into achieving and maintaining a healthy body composition. But the basics are diet and exercise, and that's how I lost 80 pounds last year, and how I've been able to keep most of that off this year as well. It's a long game. There's no easy way. Drinking tea is not going to melt your fat, erase excess fat, or shrink your fat cells. Red tea does have some good qualities, some health benefits. So do many of the foods we have discussed on Running a Fever, like oatmeal and beans and coconut oil. All these foods and others make up a good diet. People want something simple, so the folks selling a fad diet give them what they want, a single item that will solve all their problems. It sounds too good to be true, and it is. So that's my take on the red tea program. Holly, I hope this answers your question, and if you want to know how I did it, it's all here in the podcast for free. I'll say it again, it's all here in the podcast, and believe it or not, my program is absolutely free. You don't even have to listen to ads. So, catch the fever if you haven't already got it. Wow. So, yeah, cruising around Lake Atlanta. I've learned a little bit about the lake since I was kind of looking it up, trying to figure out where it was and everything. Nice stream here. Some rushing water sound like we have every time we go around Lake Fayetteville. This is natural though, it looks like. Well, partially. There's a kind of spillway there. This is a reservoir. As I was saying, I learned a little bit about Lake Atlanta. It is named after a woman whose first name was Atlanta, donated by a couple or her husband. And this is not a state park. It is a city park, which is under the authority of the city of Rogers, Arkansas. Did go to the gym this morning, but I didn't play racquetball because nobody showed up to play with me. Howdy.
Hello.
So having nobody to play with, I went and I walked around the track, so I got in about 4,500 steps before I went to work, and I was probably over 10,000 by the time I left. Currently 14,218. 19, 20, 21. But I've been having trouble with my foot, and I talked about this a little bit. Trimmed the nail, I was having trouble. I think the nail was digging in, but now it's a different problem because there's something on the little toe that has the nail. So it's not the nail, it's something there. I was feeling that a little bit today. Probably one of the worst things to wear when I'm having a problem like this is my hiking boots, which otherwise are really nice. So when I got home, I put another Band-Aid on. It's one of those store brand Band-Aids, so they're pretty skimpy. And it's doing okay. I feel it, but it's not debilitatingly painful or even, causing a limp or anything. It's just a little inconvenient, and hopefully that'll heal up. But it's not keeping me from walking or playing racquetball, any of the things I normally do. So we're sticking to the old new program. So thank you for listening, and if you got the fever, keep it. If you don't have it, catch it. And I'll talk to you next time on Running a Fever.